Hello, my name is Caitlin Miller, and for my final presentation for interpersonal communications, I decided to do it on intimacy, first of all. So for my two visual aids, I found this, and it's kind of a good representation, I think, of how there are fewer dots, but there are more direct connections. So I think, and then the further down you get, there are a lot of indirect connections and a lot more dots. And I think that just shows, that's a good example of how there are, you can't have a direct, intimate relationship with every single person that you have a relationship with. And so yes, that was my first one. And my next one is called the love triangle. Up here at the top we have intimacy, and then on this corner we have commitment, and on this corner we have passion. And if all you have is passion and intimacy, then you have romantic love. If you have intimacy and commitment, then you have companionate love. And if you have passion and commitment, then you have fatuous love. But if you have all three, then you have consummate love. And I just thought that was interesting, that you need that. I mean, intimacy is obviously a huge part, but in order to have the perfect relationship with your significant other, you kind of need passion and commitment as well as intimacy. So Webster's dictionary defines intimacy as something of a personal or private nature, similar to belonging, closeness, familiarity, and nearness. Our book talks about 4 different categories or sections. The first one is the different dimensions of intimacy, the differences in gender in intimacy, the influence that culture has on intimacy, and the limits that intimacy has for us. The first section are the different dimensions. Our book claims that the first dimension is the physical. According to the intimate couple, physical intimacy is a basic need for everyone. It specifically recognizes touch and says that it relieves stress, makes us happier and healthier, allows us to give and receive affection, and strengthens personal relationships. Our book also claims that people who have been through physical challenges together share a lifelong bond, or can share a lifelong bond. The second dimension is intellectual intimacy, and that consists of sharing important ideas, and the third is emotional intimacy, which is the exchange of feelings and personal experiences or information. Next is the differences in intimacy between men and women. Our book creates 3 different categories: woman to woman, man to woman, and man to man. And it says that while women are more willing to disclose and share information about themselves, men are equally able to develop and maintain intimate relationships. Because it seems that, it used to, a while ago, be that it was considered that women were seen as having it easier when it came to intimate relationships. But men, it's been shown that men are just less likely to divulge things about them. But they can equally maintain intimate relationships. Helen Fisher, who is an anthropologist and relationship expert, says that women see intimacy as being face-to-face, while men seeing it as being side-by-side. She claims that women should work and play side-by-side with men, and then they won't be as intimidated or threatened by the face-to-face that women tend to prefer more often. Next is the influence that culture has on intimacy. This includes showing emotions, expressing affections in public, and respecting privacy. It has been shown that both ethnicity and social status affect the way that people show intimacy. For example, the working class, or kind of the white-collar class, is far more likely to be personal, be kind of intimate with each other than the blue-collar, higher-up workers. And people from Oriental backgrounds are far more likely to refrain from divulging too much about themselves, whereas people from Europe and Western cultures are far more likely to share more personal information about themselves. And that was from a essay I found written by Tara C. Marshall from the University of Western Ontario. And finally, the limits presented to us because of intimacy. Our book talks about the impossibility of having an intimate relationship with every single person that we have a relationship with. And it also talks about how the exclusion of anything impersonal is in an intimate relationship is detrimental to that relationship. So in other words, the things that seem small are just as important as the big things in an intimate relationship. They don't have to, in an intimate relationship, it's not just sharing huge and important things about yourself, it's also sharing the seemingly insignificant things. And that is my presentation. Thank you very much.